Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. Today we have a first-time bloomer for Julie's Orchids, and if you stick around, we'll discuss this plant more, so do stick around. So this beautiful flower you see before you is Brassocattleya Morning Glory. I got this particular orchid into my collection about 8-9 months ago. I did do a video of that haul and there was a repotting. I'll put a link into the description below and a card up in the corner here. But I wanted to take a little minute and discuss this plant with you. I bought this plant because the picture of the flowers were absolutely stunning. As you can see, these flowers are absolutely stunningly beautiful. And this is my first time flowering this plant, and this is this plant's first time flowering, full stop. It's looking beautiful. A little bit of a funky curl to the lip here, but for the first time it's flowered, it's done really good, and I'm quite happy with it. So this very stunningly beautiful flower is a primary hybrid. It is a primary hybrid between Brassocattleya nudosa and Cattleya purpurata. And you can see from the shape of the flower that its flower is really shaped more like the nudosa, but it definitely has the color of the purpurata. As far as fragrance goes, right now it's middle of the day. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and there is no fragrance at all coming from this. It releases its fragrance like its nudosa parent in the evening, and it's got a its fragrance is very much like the Brassocattleya nudosa, a nice light floral scent, which I also happen to have Brassocattleya nudosa in bloom right now, so I'm unsure exactly which one I'm smelling. I actually think I'm smelling the nudosa because that currently has 5 flower spikes on it in bloom. But this is the first time flowering for this plant. I'm pretty happy with it. So as we discussed, this is a primary hybrid between Brassocattleya nudosa and Cattleya purpurata. When I got this about 8-9 months ago, it was planted up in bark, and I had it in isolation because I brought it into the house, had it in isolation for a while, and once it started putting out new growths, we repotted it, and that was the haul video that I linked earlier and is in the description down below. I'm going to attempt to put up some side-by-side pictures of what it looked like in the bark, what it looked like when we were done repotting it, versus what it looks like now. And when I'm saying that, we're going to go down from the flowers to the vegetative growth and see what this plant has done in the 8 months it's had to grow in pumice. So doing a side-by-side comparison of what it looked like when I bought the plant and it was still in the styrofoam and bark, you can see that plant came with this growth, this one, and this was the new growth that was putting out new root nubbins when I repotted it. I'm happy to say that using the water bath technique, when I repotted this plant, it did not really bulk and lose its old roots. You can see the old root right here, still looking quite nice and healthy. It grew some new roots from that new growth, and then it put out this new growth for me, and this is the one that has bloomed. So I'm really happy with this. It's so pretty. It's really just a very stunningly beautiful flower. Now I have this potted in the large size pumice, and you can see the new roots are growing right down into that pot, got new root growth down here. It is really liking this setup. Again, this got watered, today is Sunday, so it got watered yesterday, and there's not really any water left in the reservoir. That's fine. It's not going to get watered again until Saturday, but it's still kind of moist inside here. And again, you can see there is some algae on the very inside rim of the pot, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting the plant all that much. Now, as far as fertilizing of this plant goes, when the plant is in active growth, its blooming size, I fertilize it in the same routine as I do the rest of my blooming size plants when they're in active growth. 1 week they'll get fertilizer with NPK, and I'll supplement that with some trace elements. And then the next week they get calcium, magnesium, and then the following week after that they get a rinse. Then the week after that they'll get some seaweed and sort of that sort of thing. I give them about 200, 250 parts per million of basically everything. That's only when they're in active growth. When they're not in active growth, they pretty well just get water with every now and again a little bit of splash of something. You know, they seem to be quite happy. I'd like to kind of zoom in on this flower spike, and you can see that there's plenty of happy sap on the flower spikes themselves, which means, you know, the plant's happy. It's getting enough water, and it's creating the little bit of happy sap that plants create when everything is going along good for them. I'm perhaps giving it a bit too much light. But this is a Brassocattleya mixed in, you know, they like their highlights. So I push my plants and give them as much light as they can take without burning their leaves. So even though there's some anthocyanin going on back there, I do, you know, physically touch the leaves to make sure that they don't feel hot. I do use LED grow lights. They do produce a little bit of heat, not as much as your standard fluorescents, but you can burn your leaves if they get too close to the bulbs, or if they grow right into them, you can definitely burn your leaves. So, you know, use the old touch test. If your leaves are getting hot, then they're too close to the lights. Well, there you go, guys. A quick follow-up and mini care guide on a primary hybrid Brassocattleya Morning Glory. It's an absolutely stunningly beautiful plant that releases its nice light floral fragrance in the evening. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do subscribe, and if you are a subscriber, I have opened up channel membership. If you are interested, I've got a few members only perks available. Any of the membership or any money that I make from the channel will go back into the orchid collection to help with things like fertilizer, calcium, magnesium, or even filters for the reverse osmosis water system. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a very good day.